Well, hello, it's Caroline Fabrigas, the CEO of Scent Marketing Inc. and ScentFluence. And welcome to our ScentFluence Sit Down. In this series, we love to meet influencers in their field, those that love to influence with scent, and our friends, colleagues, and also clients. And we're so delighted this morning to see you, Chris Olshan, who is our chairman and CEO of Luxury Council. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well, Caroline. Thanks so much for having me on.
We're really happy to see you. We have had such a wonderful long association with Luxury Council. It's a beautiful organization with amazing members who come from all sectors of luxury businesses, many different disciplines coming together to celebrate luxury, learn about luxury. But actually, I think, Chris, it would be great for you to share with our audience a little bit about your background, what brought you to Luxury Council, and a soundbite on the Luxury Council, and then we're going to talk about your signature scent.
Yeah. About me, I'm a Jersey kid by birth. I grew up in Elizabeth, moved to Pennsylvania, and then hopped back and forth between Manhattan and PA for most of my early career. I was a serial entrepreneur, so I opened about 24 businesses before joining the council. Prior to the council, I was actually a member for 2 years. And then in 2008, decided to come work for the company. And my joke is I'm ADHD, and the council was a perfect fit because of the wide range of types of brands we work with. So the business has been around since 94. I started in 2008, became CEO in 2016, and then bought the company in 23. And our mission is essentially to serve as, if not the global thought leader, one of the global thought leaders on the luxury market and best customer, and serve as kind of the behind the scenes middleman for luxury brands. We facilitate partnerships and collaborations, refer everything from professional services to venues to not-for-profits, and essentially just work with the brands to help resolve pain points or help with growth strategy. We've served brands in more than 60 cities worldwide and worked with about 2,500 companies and about 10,000 CEOs over the last 3 decades.
Wow. Okay, I'm exhausted.
And my joke is it beats having a job.
So first of all, you only founded 24 companies before you joined Luxury
Yes.
Council. I'm just exhausted from founding and running one. So my goodness, what kind of companies were these, Chris?
It was a little bit of everything. We had strategic consultancy that helped new companies launch their first stores, essentially startups. We had a couple of auto dealerships, a service center, a cleaning company. We had a photography studio, a modeling agency. At one point, I did some professional racing, and we opened a circuit racing company. A little bit of everything. It was, I kind of said the universe put things in front of me at the right times. And as I was getting bored with something, a new opportunity would come along and I would look to jump. So it fit perfectly with what I'm doing now, because from one day to the next, it's, today is scent, tomorrow could be private jets, the next day could be adventure cruising. So you never know what you're in store for in this business. And that's kind of the way it was when I was an entrepreneur. So it feels very natural for me.
Well, right. It was a great evolution. And how interesting. This was not staged, just so you know, but how interesting. My coffee cup today, because we do like these Starbucks coffee cups,
Yep.
happens to be New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So look at that.
And that looks like Wildwood, if I'm guessing, right?
Look at that. It's kismet with my little pink lipstick on there, sending you
Yeah.
a kiss. But I think that's very indicative of the kind of relationship that we've had over these many years. It's very
Mm-hmm.
symbiotic, very synergistic. I just love coming to Luxury Council events. That's one sphere of influence that I really enjoy. The members are incredible. They really are from an amazing background. I met that gentleman from Opus Winery. He was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Revive skincare folks. There's so many different wonderful friends, either existing friends or new friends that I've met along the way. And then you have these incredible experiences that you offer, because this all plays into how we've created this scent for you. Tell us about some of
Yep.
the experiences, like the adventure trips that you've taken members on, and you've been happily returned safely, I might add.
Yes, knock wood every time. So, for us, my comment would be, when I took over, I realized that as the world changed, one of the big things that most executives needed more than information was relationship. A lot of C-suite executives built partnerships over the years with other companies, but when pressed on who was at the helm of the other brand, most had forgotten who was in charge of the other company. And that was kind of a wake up to me that for these executives, they're so busy working that they're not actually building personal relationships with anyone. And then I realized I'm so busy working that that's going to be my fate. So I realized that for me, the membership had to be more than just business. It had to really be a relationship so that I'd have people to hang out with outside of work. That led us to, as we kind of shifted from, evening lectures to roundtable lunches, I started to say, I really want to spend more time with all of our members. How do I do this? And I realized we had created the first luxury summit with American Express almost 30 years ago. We went to a Financial Times one in 2016, and I was a little more than disappointed. It was a lot of truisms, a lot of very fast-paced 20-minute conference type meetings. Nobody really took the time to get to know one another or talk outside of, here's a card, nice to meet you, I'm running to the next meeting. And when we got back, I said, I want to do this for the council, but I want to slow it down. I want to make it more about the people rather than the content. And let's figure out a way to invite members, invite spouses, invite kids, and let people get to know each other personally and build relationships. And from that, the business will come. And so we did our first one in Anguilla in early 2017. And everyone on that trip to this day are still dear friends. They still work together on a regular basis. And we've probably done 18 or 20 since. And we're getting ready to put a few together in the next 12 months, hopefully possibly a cruise, a safari, and maybe a trip to Monaco and Costa Rica. So stay tuned because we'll have some invites coming your way soon for those.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait. And for anyone who is watching or listening, Luxury Council membership, it's a wonderful opportunity to experience all of that and more. And I do want to add that when we're creating signature scents, which we are so proud to have created the signature scent for Luxury Council, we take all these things into account. Obviously your philosophy of relationship and partnerships, your ethos of collaboration and community. We take into account the warmth and the spirit of innovation, information sharing, this opening up of people to talk to each other and to share. And then, of course, we also envelop that into a very, very luxury scent that follows your brand cues. Speaking of brand cues, tell us a little bit about your logo, because that is something that we do take into account when we are crafting a scent. We look at the colors, we look at the logo, and all of the things I mentioned. So tell us a little bit more about your branding.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't take credit for the branding that was in place long before I started. But our founders saw it as kind of a combination of day and night. It's the sun with the curvature of the moon behind it, and the idea is illumination, 24/7 intelligence. The gold is around the idea of alchemy, creating precious metals from something not precious originally, and a lot of it kind of ties into the idea of luxury. It's rare, it's special, it's unique. Typically, you have to be educated about it to fully understand and appreciate the value of it. So the logo just kind of ties all of that into us, and it's something that I've grown to truly love.
It's wonderful. I've heard the branding story before, but I don't think I've heard it from you. And the way you just explained it, I think encapsulates everything that the Luxury Marketing Council stands for. And that was very beautiful. Thank you, truly, for sharing that. So let's turn our attention to ScentFluence. You're an influencer in your sphere. ScentFluence is a member of Luxury Marketing Council, Luxury Council as we now call it. And we came together and we created this custom scent to be emblematic of your organization and to share the spirit with your members. So when you set out to create this scent, what was your wish for the scent? What did you wish that it would communicate and do for your community?
Well, it was interesting because when we first started the scent, very much like the brand, we were the Luxury Marketing Council, and that was the direction that our founder took with the business. And then when I took it over, I realized we were doing so much more than marketing, that removing it from the brand better explained who we were. And initially, one of my worries was all of our intellectual property, would it transfer over? And with our scent, it was probably the easiest of all things to shift into the new brand. So when we first started thinking about the scent, there were three different components. There was our founder, there was me, and then there was the company. And our founder tended to be very earthy, woodsy, a little bit bohemian, a little bit of a hippie. He liked the outdoors. So for him, it was pine and campfire smoke and woods and earth and a lot of very warm and almost musky fragrances. And our brand was elegant, it was refined, it was reserved, it was quiet, it was, kind of traditional luxury. And then there was me, a little younger, a little louder, a little more out there, and a little bit more of the cool ocean fragrance, I would say, to the warm earthy fragrance. So initially, our founder took the reins and tried to have you guys produce something that I think we all kind of agreed was reminiscent of the 1970s musk. And trying to be diplomatic, I said, let's shop it around and get some feedback from members. And interestingly, almost all members agreed it didn't capture us. And at that point, our founder said, okay, I'm going to step out of this. Obviously my nose is not the nose of today. Let's figure it out, you and Caroline. And we put our heads together. And what was really interesting was it wasn't a throw the baby out with the bathwater and start over. It was, let's remove a couple of these really harsh scents from the notes and let's figure out if we can replace them with something that gives us more balance. And it's very, very interesting because you tend to start to relate brands to people. And when you did that, the way you kind of found a harmony is very indicative of your brand and you as a person. It really worked well for us. And I think that's one of the reasons we've had such a great relationship for so long is you're able to kind of find that middle ground for brands and really create something that you can build consensus around. And that's what happened with us. We replaced all the overly earthy, musky smells with something cooler and breezier and, more beach-like. And all of a sudden it produced this wild scent that it's not a perfume, it's not a cologne. It's kind of a room scent, but it's kind of a body scent. It's nice. And it's the kind of fragrance that every single person that puts it on, they say, this smells great. Whether it's our candle, our hand sanitizer, they love the fragrance. I don't think anybody has said, I need to wear this as a scent, but every person that's been around the scent enjoys the scent. And for us, that's really what we wanted, because when you look at our members, it's everyone from Opus One to Remy Cointreau to, some of the best auto brands, best cruise lines, best fashion brands. It's a very diverse audience and everybody feels a little bit differently. We have French brands, Italian brands, American brands, Asian brands. There's so many different cultures and types of product that it's hard to please everybody, especially in luxury. And with our scent, it seems to actually do that, which is one of the reasons I'm so thrilled that we can finally bring it out for licensing.
Yes, yes, we're so excited too. It really is this scent that resonates with luxury. It kept all of that luxurious warmth, woodiness, resonance, time-honored craftsmanship. And then it brought this, as you were saying, this lightness and modernity, which is also luxury in its simplest form, So I think it's almost a little bit like your logo too. It's sort of like that day and night and that blend of the intelligences together, the alchemy that you reference. So I see the candle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful soy-based natural candle with a wonderful cotton wick. The signature scent is suspended into this formulation. And then we have a very simple and elegant black glass vessel with the logo that is screened on, and a beautiful gold cap, which is for obviously cover and also safety when you're putting the candle out. So this is an item that we created and it just blew out. We just really did so well. Everybody loved it. And I think we're going to get ready probably to do another run shortly.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the two comments I would make are one from a packaging perspective, because I should have brought the box up as well for this. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. So typically you will find brands that will do something customized, whether it's gifting material, things like that. And the product is usually very nice, but the packaging doesn't always meet that level because there's somebody's looking to do cost savings. In your case, everything was 5-star. It could not have been more elegant, more beautiful. I think the box is even more gorgeous than the actual candle. And what I really liked is our traditional logo has some blues in it. It usually is against a white backdrop. And I wanted to do something kind of more along the lines of the black and gold because I think it works in more environments. And you guys were able to take our colored logo and do the black and gold just perfectly. And we actually now use the black and gold logo whenever we have dark backgrounds as opposed to our standard blue lined logo, thanks to you guys.
That's terrific. I didn't know that. I'll tell you one quick sort of inside story. We
Yeah.
really were, with the level of detail with which we work, thank you for noticing that. We're very, very precise, very dedicated to excellence. And all of the rays that are coming out of the sun, the way in which we had to work to make sure the
They're a nightmare, aren't they?
crispness was there for you, even down to that level of detail that maybe somebody else would not.
Could not even. In fact,
Recognize.
our logo, I wanted to do a custom metal sign. I have a friend that does metal fabrication, and I sent him my logo, and he called me, and his comment was, "We're not friends anymore." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Do you know how many lines are in your logo?" He's like, "I'm cutting metal with plasma." He's like, "I can't do this, period. It's too detailed." And so we had to go with a little bit different of a design for the logo. But yeah, it's very interesting because unless you have a really good graphic team, our logo can be difficult. And you guys, there wasn't a blip on the radar that was a problem, which is
There wasn't a ray out of place.
exactly another testament to how brilliant you guys have been about all
Oh,
of
you're
this.
very kind. I do have to say that isn't that though luxury in a
Yep.
way, another definition, that attention to absolute detail and precision, no matter what it is. That's very luxury. And
Yeah.
what an honor it has been to create this signature custom scent for you, to manifest it into a candle. And of course, we have the ambient diffuser oil as well, which we're going to be launching on our ScentFluence website in a licensing arrangement with Luxury Council to make that available in everybody's home so you can experience this beautiful scent that we've been describing here in your own home and have this sense of beautiful modernity and luxury along with the timeless classic quality of luxury. And you also went on, Chris, we made a hand sanitizer. This was something in the pandemic times, but it's continued on, I understand.
It has. So what's interesting is on the room side, my wife now serves as our CFO since taking over the business as one of 2 companies she works for. Prior to this, she was completely separate from our organization and tends to be the one that decides on the color patterns, the scents in the house, things of that nature. And when she smelled this fragrance, she said, I want this in the house. And forever, we would just burn candles in a few rooms when we would have people up. And then, I called you about a year ago and said, I'd love to figure out a way to fragrance the house. We've done some upgrades. And now we actually have this scent pumping through the house. And every person who walks in, it's not so pronounced that it punches you when you walk in, but I don't think there's been a person in the last 12 months that's come in the house and hasn't stopped and said, "What's that amazing smell?" And I get to go through the whole story of the fragrance, and then you guys having the machinery that brilliantly worked in our property, and we tried a number of the personal home centers, and I'll tell you, you spend a lot of money on junk. And you guys really have perfected this for the commercial space. And if you have a decent sized home, there's a phenomenal transfer from commercial to home that you guys are able to do. That's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it was fun to
Okay.
come. Yeah, no, it was fun to come up and visit you and install your large space scent unit in your HVAC. We also have
Yep.
smaller ones, but we installed the big boy, as I like to say, in your HVAC. And so nice to know that it is diffusing beautifully on a timer and giving you that nice scent that you love to have every day when you
Yeah.
come home.
And then on the hand sanitizer side, that was really just dumb luck. We had owned a liquor business and we had produced all of our products with a pure 7 times distilled 98% ethanol. And so we had a very, very high purity drinkable alcohol. I had a source for food grade aloe, and interestingly enough, we had a small bottle of the council's lap of luxury scent that we had used in the little home diffusers for a while to scent certain rooms. And as the pandemic hit, I said, I wonder if I could make a hand sanitizer out of this. And so I started looking up the ratios and requirements for, germ killing. And we basically produced a hand sanitizer that, other than the fact that the fragrance isn't edible, you could essentially drink the hand sanitizer if you really wanted to. But it softens your hands as opposed to drying them out. The food grade ethanol has nothing toxic in it. The scent lasts and lingers on the skin, and it's worked beautifully. And we actually gift our hand sanitizer at some of our major events and have it in, I carry a bottle in my briefcase, and every time we do a summit, we bring bottles with us for members. And it's probably been the favorite item so far, just because it's personal use, and it actually serves a purpose other than just being a brilliant scent.
That's great to see. It's great to see how this brand signature has translated from an ambient oil used at events into your home to now going
Hmm.
on our website at scentfluence.com into a candle, which has been so beloved, and into the hand sanitizer. So we'll have to talk about what's coming next for your
Yeah.
signature scent.
I keep going back to fragrance because I like the scent. It's something that I think personally I might want to wear.
Mm.
I typically wear Hermes, and it it's something our founder also wore. So there's a little bit of nostalgia to it for me, and at the same time, it's almost getting to the point where I'm almost wondering if it's not my scent anymore. And really, your scent has become my scent and my brand scent. And I think it may wind up being a body spray next.
Oh, well, we could work on an eau de toilette, an eau de parfum. So
Or we
that's
could look
something
at some of
too.
our soap brands. Where we've been dancing with Caswell Massey for a little while. Maybe it becomes a bar soap.
Yes, it certainly could. We love Caswell Massey. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, lots to talk about. But speaking of what's next, as we get ready to sort of wrap up this really fun session, tell us about what's next for Luxury Council. What do you have on the horizon?
Oh, well, we do about 20 events a year in Manhattan. So we're getting ready to do an evening next week with Pineider, which is a 250-year-old Italian leather goods company. We'll be doing some stuff with Marie Bell Chocolate at the end of the month. JP Morgan. We'll be previewing the new Faena Hotel in Manhattan in June. Cocktails with Remy Martin in July. And then hopefully a really great summit before we get into September.
Exciting. I know I'm really excited about this roster of events coming up. I am so happy that we could find the time together to do
Me
this
too.
morning. You are such an influencer in your field. Thank you for your vote of confidence in Scent Marketing Inc. and ScentFluence. We love our partnership, and we look forward to many more fun times to come.
Me as well. You guys are the absolute best, and I could not be happier or more thankful to have you as a member and friend.
Wonderful, Chris. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. And look forward to talking to you all soon again from our ScentFluence Sit Down, ScentFluence Studio. Thank you.